Good morning. How we doing there, folks? Slick. Not in the shed today. Slick out in the woods today, buddy. Got a real treat for you. I know that this just looks like a clapped out car that's been sitting abandoned in the woods. And to be fair, I guess it is. But it's got potential. And better than that, you gotta see what's under the hood. Now that is a classic Ford 302. They are bulletproof 9 times out of 10. And the state that this car is in doesn't really concern me, all considered. I mean, it is so sunken into the ground that it's sitting on the rad support. But don't let that bother you. So I guess the question is, will it run? Well, we'll try. Okay, so a little bit of a background on this car. This is a 1979 Ford Mustang, 3rd generation, notchback Ghia package. Now, for context, the Ghia package derives from when Ford was, in the Mustang 2 era, so this would have been 1974 through 1978. The Mustang 2 was based upon the Ford Pinto platform, so they looked very similar. Ford used the Ghia package as a way to differentiate the Pinto from the Mustang by giving itself a little bit of a luxury type trim package, and that carried on over into the Mustang 3 generation. The significance of Ghia as a company is that it was founded by a Giacinto Ghia as an automobile design and manufacturing company. They design bodies for Alfa Romeo, Chrysler, Ferrari, Fiat. It's now owned as a subsidiary to Ford. And more about the car, comes with a factory automatic transmission. I believe it's a C4 transmission. I'm looking at the door code. This was sold out of the Davenport, Iowa district office. Paint code is for a medium Vaquero gold. Had at one point factory AC, and of course it came with the factory 5-liter 302 V8 engine. Well, first thing we got to do is even see if this thing is seized or not. Let me just bend these transcode lines out of the way. Out of the way of the fan. Yeah. Ugh. They're not rubbing against a pulley. That'd be great too. Okay. Shall we? Oh, look at that. Yeah, we're going back and forth. Yeah. Oh yeah. Does sound like it's got one tight spot there. We're just gonna work this then. I'll see if we can get on the crank pulley. Got a nice conglomerate of extensions. Let's see if I can just take the fan off. Oh, that battery, yeah. Think that's heavy. We'll try lifting up the toolbox. There. Oh, nice, a brick. Yeah. Yeah, as soft as they come. It might behoove us to take the valve covers off and ensure that we don't have any valves stuck in a certain position. I would hate for us to be trying to turn the engine and one of those is stuck in a spot and we try to just break the engine free and it just breaks off one of our valves. That would suck. Alright, I changed my mind. I am going to take all the spark plugs out and fill the cylinders with Marvel Mystery Oil and let that soak for a minute. And then try her again. It's the least invasive procedure. What a weird spot to put a dipstick. I'm not familiar with that. Get out of there. A little tight. Oh, there, could have been worse. Could have been much worse. Whoop! Oh yeah, we're doing great. Getting all this junk out of here. You don't need vacuum lines. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out later. Heater hoses. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love that our AC pump and lines are just right in the way. Grand. Let's see. Does it have engine oil? Is there anything in there? Oh yeah. That's way past a hash mark. Well, then let's get those spark plugs out. Throw some Marvel Mystery Oil down the end of the cylinders. Let me reach all the way back there. Okay, number 8. Okay, the inside. It's not rusty. A lot of soot. Carbon. Can't really see any of the white porcelain. Let's lay these out in the order they were sitting. 7 might have a little rust in there. Six looks okay. They're all consistent though. Nothing that's like extremely worrying yet. That's the main thing. And 5, yeah, much of the same. Let me lay these out on the tailgate. Let me get my knee brick. You're just gonna have to enjoy watching me from that angle because behind me is on a hill. So unless you want to tip over, sit there and like it. So if I didn't mention it before, this engine is definitely not run in over 20 years. It was drug in here. This has got maybe a little corrosion on it. Not positive. Story is, this is my cousin's, who I think was initially going to give it to his son, and they were maybe going to use it as a project vehicle, or I have no idea what the idea was, but that never ended up happening, and it just sat here, and as you can tell, it has fallen to disrepair and been picked clean by all the, I'm assuming, by all the lovely residents of the neighboring apartment complex. And it may not be them. I am making an assumption here. But that said, we are also out in the middle of the woods and there are no other neighboring homes. So you'd really have to go out of your way to come and pick this car apart. It's got headers. Look at that. Some shorties or whatever. Is that what you call them? I don't know. Short tube headers. Let me take this last one out. Okay, that one's not ready to come out by hand. Come here. What about now? You can come out of there now. Oh, you'll spin by hand, that's good. Okay. This one also not looking terrible either. I don't fully understand. It's great that all these are looking consistent. 4, 3, 2, and 1. I don't know. Okay. Throw a little bit of the good stuff in there. Into the cylinders. Hopefully lubricate. As I said before, be very careful of the little aluminum pieces tops your bottles. Number 1, don't litter, and number 2, make sure none of that goes into your engine, whether it's coming off of a Marvel Mystery oil bottle or your engine oil bottle or whatever else you're throwing in these. Well, because we're at an angle, this is just not gonna be great either way. I got an idea, because I got a different bottle with me. So I got a leftover bottle of Racing ZDDP. It's an engine oil additive that has additional minerals in it that you would add to your engine oil for an engine that has a flat tappet camshaft for normal function purposes, but especially because of the engine braking process. I actually got this as part of the rebuild process for Sally on the 68 Mustang. If you've seen that in some of my other videos. I kept this bottle as leftover. I was going to use it to refill the carburetor fuel bowls, but here I am thinking, it's a pretty nice little squeeze bottle that would fit right into a spark plug hole. Use what you got. Now if I could just fit it down in between all these wires, that'd be grand. Oh yeah, we got some into that cylinder for sure. Good. One more on this side. That went better than I could have hoped for. All right, this side ought to be a bit easier. Maybe. One. I spoke too soon. How do I do this one? You don't. Jeez Louise, there's so much junk in here. Yeah, those last two are just pretty much gonna have to fend for themselves. There. I don't think it poured all over the ground. Yeah. There we go. Okay, cylinders, juice. Let's see what we get. Oh, we might have went over it. Oh, yeah. Oh, you hear that? Oh, yeah, we're past it. Cylinders must have just been stuck in that spot. Yep. We're just going to keep going back and forth over that tight spot. Oh, my goodness. No more tight spot. Gander at this. One hand. Marvel Mystery, little buddy. That's amazing. Alright. Well now. Engine is spinning over. Very nice. Okay, next thing. I know this is the red wire, but I promise you this is the engine ground. I have no terminal connector for that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and guess that this one is seized on there. So I did check beforehand. We had one of these at the shed, got another battery too. We snagged that in there, and we'll keep rocking. Oh nice, there's some mice underneath there. Okay. We are in a heck of a spot. There we go. There, nice and tight. I'm guessing jump between this terminal and this terminal. If that battery's any good, we'll get it to turn over. Don't know until you try. Maybe I'm just not getting a good connection here. Okay, instead, let's bypass the solenoid. If this is hooked up to the starter, like I believe it is, I press this button and it should engage the starter. Nothing. Yeah, we got 12.1 volts. Wonder if that starter just needs a little encouragement. Nothing. This ground could be worse. So I think that's okay. Got our positive fine. Starter cable also could be worse. I wonder if instead I can eliminate that cable as a potential problem by coming off of this, and if I can reach it, go directly to the starter. The only problem is that these headers are literally right in the way. Could not be in a worse spot. I'm already this deep into it, why not? Just a couple bolts. Yeah, somebody just didn't put these on very tight at all. I mean, I'm just surprised. Maybe it had a lot of exhaust leaks, I don't know. Now I can just barely see something. Shame. Alright, well. Not sure how exactly, but we'll come back out here and get this thing jacked up a little bit so that I can get under there, and we'll swap out that starter, see if we can get this thing running. I at least got to be able to take that starter out to connect it directly to 12 volts to see if it's spinning or not. I mean, it should be now, and maybe it just needs a little bit more coaxing, but I need to be able to get this thing up off the ground so that I can actually release that starter and give it a little bit more TLC. Another day. Guys got to go home and eat some dinner with the family. I don't know if I remember to grab my jack stands. I was thinking maybe I get it high enough up here in the front. Oh, I got a secondary jack that I can actually put underneath there. Get it up a little bit and just kind of walk it up. Oh, that's all we got. Oh, wait. Might be able to slide this under there now, if that jack will hold. We'll see.
that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm where I need to be.
Okay.
There. I have no idea how well that'll hold. We'll see.
If it sinks into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why you brought the brick, right?
Well, to put that on top, man.
Yeah.
Try that.
Just wide enough.
Mm-hmm. Not trusting that with my life.
Yeah, no.
That is working better though. That's nice. There's something. Well, there was a bolt that used to hold these together, but that is gone forever. It's alright, who needs it? Rise! Rise! Wake up!
Got her evened out.
Heck yeah, I did. Let's throw another jack stand under there.
Wow.
It's not mine. Hey, that's a testament to Irwin Tools right there. How long has that been sitting out here? All right. See if I can get off some of the worst ones. Oh, yeah. This one come off easier. Smartest thing to do would have been to throw some of this lubricant on the threads before you spin it off, but you know, I like to punish myself, so I just, you know, I have the thought, and I'm like, nah, let's say it'd be fine. Let's just do it without.
Oh, whoa, okay. Looking on the bright side.
Yeah. Got to. Always got to do that. You just got to coax it.
Coax it, okay.
Persuade.
You have an interesting definition of that, honey.
Okay.
That is solid.
Yeah, well, I don't feel comfortable until see if we can get a starter out of here real quick. And then, hopefully, that's the issue. Either fix it or bring back the 68s, put it in there, figure out the distributor, plug wires, ignition coil, carburetor, mock up the temporary fuel system, and get it started. Parts just aren't cheap, you know what? Okay. There's one, and the other one's up. I don't know how easy that's going to be to get to. Well, here's the problem, is that even if I do get that unbolted, because of all of this, how am I getting that out? Got one. I don't know if the other one would be better access from up here because I literally can't see it from there. It would be better if this exhaust pipe was out of the way. Can we do that? Oh yeah, it's a 5/8. Thank you. Ah, perfect. Now I can see the starter.
Thanks.
Likewise. Okay, come here, starter. Please come out this hole.
Congratulations, honey.
Appreciate it. See how this part's all nice and shiny?
Yes.
That was the part that was protected.
Okay. Now you're going to take that back to the shop?
Yeah, we'll connect it up to 12 volts and see if she'll come back around. And if she doesn't immediately, we'll give her a tap, 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 tap. See if that does it. Okay. Well, that's enough for one day.
All right.
Start back at it tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Well, good morning, folks. Slick, back in the shed just for the start of the day. So it is now day 3, period 3, if you want to call it that, because I never get a full day to actually work on projects between having the kids and still working full time. You do the best you can with what you got, though, right? For what time we have today, starting in the shed, we're going to be working on seeing if we can bring this starter from the 79 back around, see if that'll function on its own. If not, I have the one that's been pulled out from the 1968 convertible Sally. We can just snag that down to my aunt's place where that 79 is located, throw that in there. And then we'll work on figuring out temporary fuel solution. We'll get a carburetor snagged in there. It's also the one that was off of Sally. If not, I have another backup plus a carburetor rebuild kit for the backup. The backup itself is from the 1964.5 Mustang project car. It was my mom's in high school. Haven't told you about it yet, but we'll get there. That one's a whole nother discussion. So we'll get our temporary fuel, get our carburetor. Just have to figure out ignition at that point. I've got spare plugs and wires. I could use the distributor from Sally if I wanted to, because that's out already. We'll just mix and match, see what it takes to get this thing going again. Well, first things first, let's see if we can throw 12 volts onto this starter and if it'll actually function like it should or not. Take a look. Okay, so we got a battery charger right here. I should be able to throw 12 volts from that. To the starter to see what's going on here. Okay, Mr. Starter. Nothing. I don't see it moving at all. Let's try it this way instead. Woohoo! Yeah, that's not doing what we needed to, though. I'll tell you that. Okay, we have reset and are trying again because I don't know that the 10 amps that's coming off of that 12 volt setting is necessarily what I want. I just want whatever this starter is going to draw from a 12 volt. So you connect up your positive cable to the starter. Connect your negative and positives to the battery, and you should be able to ground this and have it do something. But considering it's doing nothing but sparking, means that this starter is bad. However, notice we have another starter over here. This is the one that I pulled out of Sally. This is a known good starter. So let's try the same procedure, and you should see this one function. This one is just no longer good. Okay, should be able to ground it out here right on the case. Okay, so we're gonna err on the side of caution, and even though when I took that starter out of that 68, it was fine. I'm not gonna assume that it is now, I guess. I'm gonna steal one off of the 64.5, if I can. Come with me. Okay, let's undo this other one by feel. Yeah, there's no way you're seeing that. I would show you if I could, but it's down there, man. Imagine this is the only starter that I have right now that'll actually work is the one off the car that has been sitting and has not run in longer than I've been alive. I did it one piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. I know it seems like it's taken forever for me to get this bolt out, and that's because it is. Sure enough, man. Okay, let's disconnect it here. Get off. Let go. Okay, well... Well, there's still enough to grab onto to just make sure that I'm not doing something wrong, so whatever. Watch it work. Alright, nothing's working here so far. I literally think I just have bad starters all around me. Several hours later now, I'm finally back. Had to cross the river to go get a replacement starter, since, you know, literally every single one that's here is non-functional. We should see a spark, but it should function. Why not? Okay, folks, so day or period 4 of working on reviving the 79 Foxbody, I have got a story for you. So day 3 is, I don't know how much of that you're actually going to see. You're going to see portions of it, I know that. That whole day was kind of, it was blown because of the weather too. I would have been getting poured on. But I would have been fine getting poured on in the rain had I not already been beaten down 4 separate times, okay? I tried 3 starters that we had here from just, any of the other cars that were around. One that I was known good as far as I knew from the 68, from Sally, because it was cranking when I took it out, so figured it'd still be good. And it only been sitting for, I don't know, a little over a year or so. I don't know. But the 4th one, straight remanufactured from a big box store. This one, however, that I snagged from O'Reilly's. Let me show you something, okay? I was going to show you in day 3 how to do bench test to see if your starter's good or not. Well, let me show you now on one that I know works. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll put a positive on the rear terminal of our starter. And then, and this may be different considering what type of starter you have. These older Ford starters, before they begun to incorporate the starting solenoid as like an attachment to the outside of the starter, as most manufacturers have. I believe Ford started to do that in like the early to mid 90s. Prior to that, so any of the older Mustangs, F-150s, whatever, anything that used a starter solenoid that was mounted to the front and typically passenger fender of the engine bay, right? And so that meant that the solenoid was not attached to the starter. So you will not see that here. If you did have that type of starter, you could just connect, I'm sure, to some point direct to the starter. Otherwise, you'd have to also jump from a contact point on the starter itself to a point on the starter solenoid to get this to function as it should. Besides the point, for this specific starter, hook up one of your positives to that point on the starter itself, and then we will just hook up a 12-volt battery for testing purposes. Make sure that my ground on the other side is touching nothing. Now what you should see, and what we didn't in part of day 3, was you should see this little drive, this gear, pop forward and start to spin, right? Popping forward, it would be to engage the flex plate or flywheel, whatever the case, and then spinning to start turning the engine over. And the way that you test for that is you now take your, what would be the ground, and it would be grounded out through the case. So if I connect my ground lead to the case, you will see it spark because it's making an electrical connection, but you'll also see that power is running through the motor and it should function as I described. One more time. Okay, all that to say, 1, you absolutely can have a faulty starter right out of the box from the big box store. And 2, have confidence in your abilities. I was doing the right thing the entire time, testing all of these. I had a correct battery with proper voltage. I had, I had functioning cables, right? The procedure I was using was correct. I was having bad equipment the entire time. So that's what can happen. And that just goes to show the way that some of these parts function, and that sometimes you strike out, sometimes you hit home runs. It just depends on the day. But the fact that you continue to persevere in the face of adversity, that's what matters, man. And here we are. All right, let's keep going with the rest of the video. Let's get down to the 79 and keep moving. Yo! Oh, there it is. Let's throw a starter in, shall we? Easy does it. There, that's in there far enough to hold it up anyway. Whew. Okay, now for the not so fun part, crawling under to throw the second bolt in there. It's a nice 50 degrees out today too, so could be worse. Okay, if you'd direct your viewing attention to up here. Oh. Doesn't that look fun? Okay, bolt is started. I just need a wrench. There's no way I'm getting a socket on there. I just didn't even remember how I did it last time. No. Okay, cool. Okay, good and tight. Okay, get on there. Here, let me tell you what we got here. We have our handheld start switch, if you will. Whenever I press this button, it would send voltage to the starter, but let me tell you how. So we have a positive of the battery being connected to one alligator clip, which is connected to this handheld starter. The negative, other end, doesn't really matter, of this is now connected to that contact point on the starter. Remember, the starter is grounded through the block. So when I connect this ground, I will have power to be able to send from the switch and actuate that starter at will. So let's do that quick. See if it bumps over. Good, 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 good. All right, try it. Not working. Okay. I think I'm going to replace that ground. I think that's part of the issue. So let's do that quick. Yeah, that's what I was worried about right there at the end. We're connected to the block. And here too. Oh yeah. Look at that. How many of those wires were... Jeez Louise. Alright, we got our new cables. Let's do it to it. A little bit of sand in action. Right where that is gonna be. Not that I really want a cable this long, but it's what we had, so whatever. Okay, fingers and toes are crossed. Nothing. See if we got 12 volt. Yeah, 12.2. That'll spin it over. So what is our issue then? Come to find out that this cable... Yeah, I know, it looks great, right? No, but in all seriousness, there's nothing at first that makes you think, well, no, that wouldn't work. You know, there's... looks fine. Could be... this portion right here. It's about, you know, burnt through. Regardless, when I would test... Notice that, you know, okay, I'm grounded off here to my negative terminal with a quick test light. You go from 1 to 1... 12 volts going to this bulb, lights it up. When I would test that other lead towards the end of this ring terminal, I would get nothing. This one, however, get our light go off. So I should be able to, with my little switch, jump from here to here and be able to start that starter motor. Let's see if that works. In theory, it will. Oh, did something there. That's at least showing that it's throwing voltage to that wire right there. Now I see it burning there when I would or smoking rather. So let's not do that anymore. How's about instead, can I use a pair of jumper cables? All right, folks, this is day or part 5. Back out here working on the 79 notchback Ghia Foxbody Mustang. I've got the battery starter ignition system on the run in a positive way. So let's dive into that, see how far we get. I got about 3 or 4 hours. I'd love to see this thing start today. See if we can make it happen. Okay, first thing I'm gonna start with is replacing this solenoid. Change this solenoid so I can connect my switch to it. And the solenoid will take the majority of the electrical load. And our ignition switch is just going to be the trigger. Okay, solenoid's out. Why did they start mounting it sideways like that, and why? It's literally got a post for ignition. But it's whatever. Has to do with the difference in the wiring system, I guess. Okay, it's nice and tight, my starter. Let's connect that cable to our solenoid. Half-inch. Why are you stuck on there? Good. It's tight. Let's get a battery in here. One will have to go here, and the one will go on the S. Theoretically, that should work, right? Yeah. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We have our starter system set up. Now we are ready to send ignition from here to the coil, but let's get to that because the coil in disrepair, distributor in disrepair. I got extras for them though. I got stuff we can swap out. So let's move on from here. Very nice. This is encouraging. Okay, let's first start by cleaning this up a bit and getting that coil out of there. I have a replacement for it, so we'll start there. We'll move it to the distributor right after. It's what looks to be like a. It looks bigger than a half-inch. It looks like a 5/16. Sorry, 9/16 or a 5/8. I'm thinking. Gotta be 9/16. So that does look bigger than a half. So it is. Oh yeah, this rusty piece that's jangling there. It's the fuel line. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Rusty, although it may be, I don't know that it's rusted out, so it's usable. Well, we had a grounded cable there of sorts. Cool. Old coils. Yeah, I suppose we could potentially still use this. We'd have to test it. And I have to get this plastic cover off the top of it first. Let me show you something here. So, this is the coil that we took off the car. And this is what the post configuration looks like versus this is the one that I'm going to throw on there. This is one that's from an older Mustang, Not sure that that's significant. Pulled this one off of Sally, actually. Do a quick test here using a multimeter. We're going to test the resistance of the coil to see whether or not it's still good. Now, I've read that a good resistance reading, my multimeter here, on our ohm setting, setting that at 200, a good resistance reading for a functioning coil should be somewhere between the range of, for 4-stroke engine, should be somewhere between the range of 0.5 to 2.5 ohms. So when we test, and it's bidirectional, it doesn't matter which you put where as far as your testers, I'm getting absolutely nothing. Now, it could be because of the corrosion and whatnot on these terminals. I'm thinking that's got something to do with it, the fact that I can't get a single reading, but I'm going to venture to guess this is just no good, right? When, in comparison to when I test our known good coil, it's going to make a fool out of me, but I am telling you, a second ago, I tested this and we got like a 2.4. Well, you're going to have to take my word for it. Worked when I pulled it off the car. Well, that didn't really work out with the starter, did it? But we will see. The fact that we're getting any reading at all is a good sign. So let's throw this in here, wire it up quick. A lot of wiring that I don't know where it goes. Would love to get this out of the way too. Just have some room. Don't know that I have a wrench big enough for that. All right, it's gonna make some people cringe, but it is what it is. Do what you can while you got the time. Oh, that's not gonna budge either. Oh! Yeah, we'll just wait till we have the right wrench. How about that? Whew! Yeah, I didn't need to take that line out of there. That's fine. You know, since we don't intend on using it. Oh, and it's all bent up anyway. Yeah. You know what we can do? We can do one of these. There. Who needs it? I don't know what all this wizardry is. It's just more and more lines for me to have to plug. There. Now, let's see if we can get our distributor out of here next. Got this pump and all this junk in the way. It makes it a little bit more difficult to work on, I tell you. Any chance the vacuum advance portion of this just disconnects? Take the cap off. This is one of the magnetic pickup style, I believe. And I would consider using this if it were not for the fact that the wires coming out of it were just snipped off. So, no, not a chance. Okay, whole distributor's just gonna let go instead. Might give us just a little bit more room, enough to get something out. Let's get this out of the way. It's a little concerning. I mean, if that's how everything else is going, how is this distributor gonna? Oh wow, that was just not in there super tight. Wonder why. Probably because nobody could get enough leverage in there to turn a darn thing. It's a good thing that it's looser too, because that means one bolt you don't want to break. How about, I got an idea. I think it moved a little bit. Maybe I'm just being optimistic. See if we can keep moving this back and forth. That's definitely moving. It's not just me. Yeah. And not like a whole bunch of junk falling in the engine. Do what we can. But I don't have a vacuum out here. Coming up. Okay. Let's get this old one out of here. Get our new one in. Well, new old. Saw what I did with the distributor. I tightened up our connections as well. Went through and for our battery side, provide ignition. Got a ring terminal on one side that I will throw down there. The other side's just a simple clip so that I can quick on and off throw this onto our battery side as needed. If I ever want to stop the engine, all I have to do is simply remove that from the positive of the battery. Okay, first thing that we need to do is spin this engine over until the number one cylinder, which is this one, is up at top dead center, and then we'll throw our distributor in so that we can get it timed to fire. The whole intent is to get this in there in such a way so that we can at least just fire it and run it very briefly. First thing I want to do then is remove the spark plug out of cylinder one. It smells like marble. So that I can have my finger over that hole. So that I can have my finger over that hole while I spin this over. And I can feel whether or not we're at top dead center, because I'd be feeling the compression from that cylinder. Okay, I can feel that pushing my finger out on the first cylinder. Now, we need to look down at our timing marks on the harmonic balancer. So if we can tell where we are at. I'm also going to spray some penetrating fluid onto our harmonic balancer so that maybe we can get a better idea of where our TDC is by looking at the timing marks. It's also not a bad idea to use some sandpaper on that so you can see these a bit better. Okay, let me bring in here so you can see this. Okay, got our light on so you can see this. Okay, so this right there, that's your harmonic balancer. You're looking for those little timing marks that are on there. I know you probably can't see it well. I can barely see it myself. However, a little bit to the right there, you might see a 10, I don't know where my finger's at, and then a 20 next to that. Further to the left, you'll see a 0 right in the middle there. Maybe from, you can't tell with the glare from the light, but we are right on 0, or just a little bit, just slightly advanced, like maybe 2 degrees advanced from top dead center on the compression stroke for number one cylinder. And this is the point at which I'm going to throw the distributor in the vehicle. Now, there are varying opinions on whether or not you should be stabbing your distributor in at exactly 0 degrees before top dead center, or give it a slight advance with your initial timing. You know, setting it in at 2 degrees, 10 degrees, whatever. And I've heard people do both, so I don't know that you can really screw it up, but here, you can learn from my experience. Our distributor is going to sit in the engine like so. Cap can only go on one way, and it'll be like this. It's got our number one cylinder marked right here, so if we want it to start to fire, on our number 1 cylinder. And when we put this distributor in, we need to make sure our rotor is pointed this direction. Okay, that rotor is going to want to turn on you a little bit. Remember, we've got a direction we want this to seat, so you just got to work with it a little bit. This fuel line being right here does not help at all. See. What? Oh, doing all that? Yeah. You could say that. All right. Now that we got our spark plugs tightened up in there, let's throw our cap on. And get our plug wires going in the right direction here. Firing order is listed here on the intake manifold, although you can look it up. You can see that there were high output 302s that would have a different firing order than any 302 289s prior to that. So this one uses the older style. It's right on the manifold. It's 1542 6378. Four. 1 5 4 2 1 5 4 2. All right, got them in there. What I want to do quick, while I'm thinking about it, is take this cap off, connect this distributor and ignition to the battery, and test whether or not we have spark at the points. Okay, this would be ignition on. Oh yeah, a little sparky there. So if we move this, oh yeah, wow, working like it should. Here, I'll bring in, you can see this. I don't know why I act so surprised. So, like I said, now that we've got our coil wired up between the distributor and the ignition, you want to look right in there. Those little contact points should see a little spark. Oh yeah. Very nice. Okay. Now that that's running fine and well, let's disconnect this for a minute so I don't get sparkied. Let's throw our cap on and see if we can't get a carburetor sit on here. Let's quick see if we can get some of these off. Oh. That's just spinning the whole stud. Nice. He's just gonna spin all the studs. All right. Well, a nice vice grip has been getting the job done for me here. Well, I at least got one so far, is what I'm saying. This one's coming. Useful tool, man, vice grips. Incredibly useful. There's another. If I haven't already mentioned, the idea would be that at the end of all this, when this engine runs, I end up taking it out of the car and cleaning everything up, internally and externally. Yeah, hold on here a minute. I want to clean up these threads before we do anything else. Okay, so I went back up to the shed, the infamous shed, and I took our carburetor mounting studs on the bench grinder with the wire wheel, clean them up on both sides first, and then I took a tap and die set and ran the dies down as a thread chaser to clean those up, because as you remember, they were sitting out here exposed, and the exposed part's a fine thread, and there's no way that it was hard enough to get the nuts off of the studs, let alone to be able to, you know, put a carburetor on top of it and then try to thread those down to tighten anything up. Not happening. So went home, cleaned those up, should be good to go down. So next step, let's get all these mounting studs in here and secure, and then we'll throw a carburetor on this, see if she pops off. Not looking to see it, you know, run for an extended period of time, just see if it'll fire and run. Okay, so this is what we're throwing on there. Motorcraft 2150. It's a cheapo that I got off of Amazon. Will serve its purpose though, and pulled this off of the 1968 Sally as well. So I know that it works, and it was tuned. I forgot, before I try to pop this off, what I wanted to do, or what I need to do is take some of these rubber caps I got and plug off any spots in the carburetor where I don't want fuel to come back out. Like fuel inlet, for example, I need to cap that off because I am not going to hook up our fuel line. Same bottle that we use to put Marvel Mystery Oil in there. Got some gasoline in this now. Let's fill the fuel bowls up first through the vent tube, and then we'll connect our ignition coil up. See if she'll pop off, I guess. Don't know until you try. Oh yeah, that works great. Accelerator pump working? Not yet, it's not. Is it leaking? Doesn't look like it's leaking. It is leaking out the back. Cool. Didn't see that coming. That accelerator pump is not doing squat. Okay, let's soak up the gasoline, take that off, and let's put the other carburetor I have on there, which may or may not work. All right, I have no idea how well this is gonna work, so we're just gonna run with it and try. I'll scrape off all the old gasket material best I can. Okay, get out of there. Now, I don't generally recommend this. However, desperate times and such, we're going to use a high-tack gasket sealant. Just put a thin layer on there to help seal her up. This is not supposed to set either. It's supposed to be very tacky, and it's supposed to stay flexible. Try to get ourselves the best seal we can. Now, I'm not saying I have the highest hopes in the world for this to just pop right off. I've literally done nothing to this carburetor. It doesn't owe me anything, is what I'm saying. I'm gonna do the same thing to this. Thin layer. bad boy on there and tighten her down. Something I noticed here is that with these studs, our bolts are bottoming out. Since I had to change spacer plate. That may do something. Let's try it. I think because we got that gasket sealant on there, it may not matter. Oh, I gotta plug off this hole. Yep, that'll do. Yeah, there's one port there. Plug that. Let's try it. A little something in there. Okay. Ignition. Here goes nothing. Good Lord. Whew. No kidding. Let me throw a screwdriver in there and just hold open that wrench. Hold that choke open. See if I can get it to just pop again, because that was fun. Oh, it wants to. It wants to. It just doesn't have a working carburetor, that's all. Howdy folks, back in the shed here. I could not, for the life of me, just leave off where we did with the 79. Because, yeah, could it run? Would it have run? Sure. But did it? Well, it popped off a couple times. We can't definitively say that it ran. Well, didn't sit well with me. It just was eating me a little bit. So here we go. I'm going to do a quick carburetor rebuild on our 2150 that was initially leaking, and then see if I got the right spacers and whatnot. We'll go down there, try to throw that on, dial in the timing at the same time, see if I can get it to run for a couple seconds. Just long enough so that we can definitively say, yep, that's running, and not so long as to overheat the engine, because there's literally no cooling system hooked up. So the bar's not super high. I think we can do this. All right, let's get into this. Now, if you want a very detailed, in-depth tutorial on how to rebuild a Motorcraft 2150 carburetor, this is not necessarily the video. This is supposed to be me just doing a quick and dirty. However, good for you that there's a million of these out there as far as the videos go on rebuilding them, so I wouldn't be too concerned. Let's start taking this apart. Need to have a flat screwdriver here with us. I mean, you could start anywhere, but don't know that I really want to screw on with the choke mechanism much. I just want to clean the inside of this. I do realize that I had a nice zip tie here. That's why she's not moving. Zip tied this open for testing purposes, I believe. There she goes. Let's get the top off here. look at this in the light. See that needle and seat's moving? That's good. Just want to ensure that it's not stuck. Not a whole bunch of junk in the bottom of there, although fuel smells a little varnishy. It really could be worse. What I do need to do is take this off, replace this seal. This diaphragm looks okay. Nope, no it doesn't. Look at it. See how it's cracked there? That'll do it. Gasket was bad anyway. That's nuts. Wasn't really old at all. There's our new one. We are only rebuilding what we have to on this. Use a little brake cleaner, carb cleaner through our orifices. Broken gasket there, well, just from taking this off I think, but nevertheless. Oh, it got me. Where's that coming out of? Oh, cool. So, passage that comes through for our accelerator pump's working like it should. That's great. There, that should be at the bottom. And then weight on top. Then would sit our Venturi cluster. Yes.
Generally, check.
Okay, let's change gasket for the power valve too, because that was also leaking, and I could just see that it's swollen.
South end on the front leg there that I was breaking the leaves out away from under.
Okay. Okay. Back down at the car. Let's reset up our wiring system. All right, will that start it? Good. Lovely. Now I got a little bit of reach. Hit my button and give her the old whoop, 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 whoop. I saw that, come to find out that this wasn't just the plastic spacer. This did have actual gaskets attached to it, and try as I may to get those off, not truly possible. I even used a bench wire wheel, used a drill wire wheel, and just could not get those off for the life of me. So we're just gonna do our best and slap a new gasket on top of it and wish for the best, really, because we do need some type of carb spacer there. Clear. Still on there, by golly. All right. Got some gasoline in here. Got our starter ignition switch hooked up. Let's make sure that's still working. Yes. Okay. That's for ignition. Let's throw a little something in the bowl. Just a little. Let's not go crazy in case it's leaking. Oh yeah, accelerator pump's working great now. Well, just like Derek from Vice Grip Garage says, bring the thunder. Maybe it just needs a little more. Didn't hardly put much in there. Doesn't look like anything's leaking though, that's good. Where's our timing at? Is that adjustable here? try right there, huh? Let's see what we get. There we go. Got a little something in there now. What do we got? I had something there. We're almost there. Hold on, let's try to lock that down a little bit, where that timing is. Try that again. Oh, I'm feeling good. Feeling very good about it. Ooh. Still backfiring through the carb. Let's do a little bit more advance right there. She was going, baby. Hold on. I don't want to push our luck too much, but it makes me very excited. Ooh, here we go. She's gone! Oh, all right. And it's, oh wow, it's got the transmission pump going. Jeez Louise. Hey, that's good. Transmission pump's working. It also spun the fan pulley off. I completely forgot about that. Well, hey, good. The transmission was full of fluid. I mean, look, as you could tell, I could have kept that going even longer. But you know what? I think that's about good enough. I also see that stuff has finally started to smoke, so there's that. I think that's enough. But to demonstrate to you that, yeah, it can be done. This thing had been sitting for over 20 years, not touched. I bet you this thing probably hadn't run longer than that. It's just been sitting out here, abandoned. Spent a total of what, like, this is now the sixth period of like 3 hours or 3 or 4 hours me working on this thing. Got her back around. Yeah, I really don't know what we're gonna do with it. There's so many rust holes in like frame related areas, so I just don't know. But leave a comment. Tell me what you think we should do with it. At bare minimum, you know, we gotta keep the engine and the transmission. There's nothing wrong with it. She'll keep going. I don't know. What do you think? Should we just part it out? Should we save it because this is the first will it run on the channel? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Either way, I had a great time working on this. This makes me happier than you can imagine. Super fun doing it. Seeing you being able to bring something back around that hadn't been running darn near my age. That's something wonderful. Anyway, I'm glad that I came back out and gave it another shot to make sure that she would actually run and that you could see it. Did it run well? No, but I could have sat here, fiddled with it a little bit more, got it actually dialed in, but considering we don't have a radiator and it started puking out fluids, this was the best place to stop. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed working on it. More to come. I'd love to do more of these, but I need you to help me grow the channel so that we got some capital to go out and save more of these. So if you would, please give it a like, share, use word of mouth, let somebody know if you liked what you saw. I would be eternally grateful for it. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.